Today, let's discuss this comment from my friend Matthias. So, this is the video about how do I deal with the shame of the past. And Matthias is asking, what if you don't want to apologize to the person? Basically, something happened in the past with another person, and you're not necessarily interested in reconciling with this, other person, but at the same time, you keep on, criticizing and feeling shame about yourself. So, this I think is a kind of a different situation from dealing with the other person. It's like internal criticism, right? So let's talk about how to resolve that. Sometimes we can have internal criticisms or internal frustrations, and that's a part of life, right? But having those thoughts and then suffering from it, that's what I'm really interested in dismantling. Okay. I think at the easiest level, right? We can stop suffering from the negative thoughts when we realize that all of these negative thoughts are based on a misunderstanding. So, suppose I thought I needed to upload YouTube videos from my phone because I didn't know technology, right? So I thought I needed to record computers from the computer and then upload it to Google Drive or something, then download it from my phone, and then needed to upload to YouTube. Suppose that was my understanding of how YouTube worked. And then when there's that many steps, of course, I'm gonna have negative thoughts about, oh, should I make the video today? But it's like so tedious and like, oh my God, it's just so much work. And then I would realize, whoa, I don't need to do that. Oh, I can just upload directly from the computer. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So at that moment, um, none of the extra thoughts are necessary anymore. You don't need to have those negative thoughts about, uploading YouTube videos from your phone because you don't need to do any of that anymore. So many of the top level, right? Assuming that there's like levels to self-criticism and the negative thoughts. The top level, the easiest ones to dismantle are going to tend to be based on misunderstandings. And as you learn more about whatever the topic is, as you learn more and then you overcome the misunderstandings and you look at the reality, you're like, oh, okay, so I don't need to think like this anymore. So at that, this is like the best and the simplest case, I think. And then comes the slightly more, sticky case, right? Okay, so I know theoretically and conceptually that I know better now. But I still feel like I need to, or the thought doesn't go away. So, taking the YouTube example, right? Yeah, now I know I can upload from my computer, but it just feels like the video quality is less, or I get less views when I upload through my computer. So I feel like I still need to, stick to the old habit of doing it from my phone. So this can happen, right? In this case, we need to understand we have a habit and we are, creatures of habit. So the more reinforced a habit is, it's likely that you are going to experience the after effects of the habit for a little bit. And this is why it's so hard to quit smoking, right? So you can have thoughts about how you shouldn't smoke anymore because it's bad for your health and it's bad for the people around you that you love. But then because of habit, you're gonna find it a little bit difficult. But that means, overcoming habits is impossible if we can't deal with that. But it turns out overcoming habits are possible, right? We can change our habits. But most of the times, we go through the habit change process in a forced kind of way. We do it in a grueling way. We're like, oh, like, fuck, I don't want to do this, but I have to kind of a way, right? So it's still possible to do it that way, but it just expends a lot of internal energy. And the, more energy efficient way of going about changing your habits is really understanding how your current habit is really not helping you at all. It's just really, 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 really not beneficial. And when you actually come to understanding that, right? So, for example, you went to a checkup, you were experiencing no symptoms, but then the doctor did an x-ray on your lungs and then they found some nodules. Whoa! At that moment, it's just gonna instantly register. Wow, okay, like shit's hit the fan. Like I might have lung cancer. So at that moment, because you're so the possibility of having a detrimental effect of smoking is so real in your head, now it feels less difficult to quit smoking because now you are convinced of the need to quit smoking. Now you are convinced that yes, quitting smoking, it's hard, but that's actually what's good for me. So you're having self-criticism and you know rationally that you shouldn't have these, but then it may still exist because of a habit. And there are ways to break the habit, especially around the thoughts. The more you practice mindfulness and the more you practice coming back to a specific focus, right? So breathing meditations that I usually do, those are going to be really helpful to build a new habit of consciousness, new habit of mindfulness. And the more you do it, and I recommend at least 100 days of like steady meditation, like routine, right? That'll get you into kind of a new routine, new foundation of mindfulness that you can really benefit from, even if it's not this immediate issue. Okay, so good, if it's a good case, then you wouldn't have negative thoughts anymore, or rather more realistically, you will have the negative thoughts, but you will clearly understand that dwelling on them is not beneficial for you at all. So it's like this. Yeah, smoking still feels amazing. Like smoking still is like an attractive activity. But I know that, but turns out dying is kind of bad, right? Being healthy is so much better. So yes, this is good, but being healthy is even better. So you're picking the better choice. So thinking in terms of that, you'll be able to change your thoughts. Now we get to the most difficult part, right? The most difficult part is you might have a natural disposition for overthinking. Or you might have some, early childhood experiences or some things that happened in the past that kind of altered your brain, altered the, chemical geography of your neurotransmitters. So in this case, right, whether you're born with that kind of a brain or you got it, like after the fact, now it has to do dealing with your biology. So in that case, right, what we have to understand that is this overthinking and the propensity to give weight to this overthinking, especially in the negative way. It's less of a me not having a control over my mind problem, but it's more of a biological problem. And as such, you could really benefit from tackling it from a biological level, talking to a psychiatrist, talking to a doctor who can actually look at the chemical compositions of your brain, do a comprehensive test, and then give you some medications that can hopefully restore the balance of your brain so that it becomes more statistically normal, so it becomes more functional. It is highly recommended that you do that. But you know what? Not everybody wants to go down the route of, drugs, right? So in that case, practicing mindfulness is not going to hurt. But if you have a propensity for overthinking, meditation, starting your mindfulness journey with meditation might not be the best idea because it is likely that you don't have a clear idea of what meditating is and you cannot really differentiate meditation from sitting down and just overthinking, which is completely the opposite of meditation. So that's sort of the three-tiered system of how I would go about resolving overthinking. And as an alternative to meditation, if you happen to be in the third category, I would recommend mantra recitals or 108 bows. To learn more about these Buddhist practices to cultivate your mindfulness, check out the link in the description below because there's a free Buddhist practice guide that I made for you, available for your download. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.